Here we're looking at problem 18a from our chapter 2 targets. We're asked to sketch the graph of this piecewise function. Now there are a couple of ways that we can go ahead and proceed with this, but let's go ahead and just kind of look at the break here. So we see that x is being broken up by this x value 1, and as a result, for any x value that's less than 1, you would use this top function. For anything that's larger than or equal to 1, you would then use this bottom function. Let's go ahead and, for a moment, look at this bottom function. So we notice that x is greater than or equal to 1. And as a result, we can then go ahead and throw in 1 into the function because it can be equal to it. So then we would end up with 1 plus 3. Well, that would just come out to be 4. So at 1, we should end up with some point 4. Now from there, we can also then just include what is the slope of this piecewise function. So we notice that it has a slope of 1, and as a result, for any x value that's larger than or equal to 1, in other words, for all of these x values, we are going up of a slope of 1 each time. So for example, if you were to throw in 2, which is larger than or equal to 1, you should end up with 2 plus 3, which is 5. And in fact, we do. But really, you only need to measure the slope, which is 1 from that point. So that would be our bottom part of our piecewise function. Now looking at the top part, we notice that we have x is less than 1. Now x cannot literally be 1 to use this top piece. However, we can come crazy close to 1 from the left side. We notice like you could throw in 0 or 0.5, or if you wanted to get closer to 1, 0.75. To get even closer to 1, you could throw in 0.9. You could even throw in 0.9999999 and so on. Getting so crazy close to 1 that we literally are just going to throw in 1 to the function. So when we do that, we end up with 3 times 1, well that's 3, minus 2. And as a result, you get 1. So again, at 1, using the top function, we ended up with 1. But again, we couldn't literally be 1. And as a result, on our graph, we're going to show an open circle with that. Now from this, you could throw in other x values that are less than 1. So for example, you could throw in 0. 0 times 3 would come out to be 0 minus 2. That's negative 2. So at 0, we end up then with negative 2. Another strategy you could use again is just to use that slope. So basically a slope of 3. Or if you wanted to, you could just go through these 2 points. So a couple of ways that you can continue on, but I wanted to talk about both of them. Notice though that we can't go beyond 1 for this green function, or the top part of that piecewise function, because as soon as you do, as soon as you have x values that are larger than or equal to 1, now you're using then that bottom part of the piecewise function. So that's why it kind of like stops here and then takes a jump with our other part of the piecewise. But again, that is example 18a from our chapter 2 targets.